The DRS LMG is absolutely insane. I got a bunch of clips that I just had to show first before we get into the full guide. I hope you guys are going to enjoy these. Alright guys, today we're taking a look at the DRS IAR, a light machine gun that looks and feels a lot like an assault rifle. When I first started using this gun, I honestly didn't get the hype. It just felt like an AR with slow ADS speed, and I couldn't understand why so many people liked it. But after maxing out the weapon, experimenting with attachments, and finally finding the right builds, it all made sense. This gun can be seriously good once you set it up properly. It's definitely a top 10, maybe even a top 5 weapon in Battlefield 6. Today I've got two main builds, plus a bonus build for all the Red Stack players out there. The first build is a stealth setup with a suppressor, perfect for breakthrough or any game mode where you're attacking, flanking and going for big kill streaks. The second build is a versatile setup that really balances out the DSR weaknesses and turns it into a weapon that performs across all maps and modes. And the third build, like I said, is tailored for Red Stack, where the gun can actually dominate with the right attachments. Now, what makes the DSR so good? The DSR strength lies in consistency and mobility, two things most LMGs struggle with. It's got low predictable recoil, a good damage output, decent reload speed, and with the right build, very little bloom. You also need to change your movement speed a little bit to this, but we'll get into that later. All of that means you'll be winning a lot of mid-range gunfights. Per bullet it does 25 damage with a rate of fire of 771. That makes it surprisingly solid up close. Not the fastest killer, but definitely good enough to handle any situation when you use it right. Now, the biggest issue I had with the DSR early on was that it has a slow ADS speed. It just felt sluggish compared to assault rifles, but once you unlock the right attachments, that completely changes. There are a few key attachments that reduce ADS time and makes this gun feel like an AR, but with less bloom and low recoil. That's exactly how you want to use it. A hybrid between an AR and an LMG that combines accuracy and control. So yeah, it does take a bit of grinding to get to that point, but once you do, the DSR turns into an absolute beast. Now, how do you play the DSR? The gameplay you're seeing in the background should give you a pretty good idea of how this weapon plays. It's slightly more defensive than your typical assault rifle, but nowhere near as slow as a standard LMG, especially with my builds. With the right attachments, you can actually play aggressively. Just remember, try not to move too much between shots and use cover as much as possible. The weapon's accuracy drops when you move a shot, so using head glitches and good positioning will help a ton. Basically, strafing is a no-go with this weapon. The first build is tuned for aggressive players with improved hipfire accuracy so you can run and gun comfortably. The second build is better for defensive playstyles and it shines when you're holding objectives and playing breakthrough on defense. So yeah, the DSR might seem like an average LMG at first, but once you unlock the right attachments and learn how to position properly, it becomes one of the most consistent and adaptable weapons in the entire game. If you enjoy these type of guides and want to see more builds like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot and helps keep me motivated and test even more setups for you guys. Now, let's get into the builds of the DSR. So here we have the first build. This is the main build. This is not the suppressed build. This is the, I guess, versatile, kind of aggressive build. This is the one that I ended up using the most. Now, there's one thing you probably will notice. There's no muzzle on this. So you're going to be appearing on the minimap and you're going to be spotted in world. So that's good to keep in mind with this build. But all of these attachments were so necessary that I kind of had to go without a muzzle. So first of all, we have the sight, the 1.25. Honestly, mostly I used the Miniflex one-time scope, but I ended up trying the DRS 1.25 magnification, which was also very good. You can go with even higher zooms on this build. You can literally go up to like 2.5 if that's something you like. However, with this build, it is built for aggressiveness and the ADS speed is quite fast on this now again. So going with lower magnification scopes is probably your best bet. Then we have the green laser. I really wanted to put a laser on this weapon because of that hip fire accuracy. Keep in mind you're visible with the green laser to the enemy players, so be aware of where you're pointing your laser at and if it's visible for the players, especially in maps like Empire State where you're inside buildings where it's a little bit darker. People can easily spot your laser. Now we have the short barrel. This is almost a must. You can also go with the light one. Both are quite good. This one reduces the projectile velocity but has a faster ADS speed. The good thing with the short barrel is that it has also improved hip fire accuracy, which makes it a bit more aggressive up close. It does reduce the projectile velocity, which is not the very strongest point of this gun anyways. Then we have, and this is honestly maybe the most important attachment of this gun. This made a huge difference for me. It's the angled grip. The slim angled slightly reduces recoil, increases weapon draw speed, and enable a slightly faster transition to aim down sight. This made it going from that slow assault rifle or slow LMG to being maybe a little bit more of an assault rifle like this. So I thought this one was quite necessary for this weapon. Then we have the 40 round slow one. Which is costing a lot less point than well, it's 5 less points, but you needed that for the short barrel or the angled grip. And then we use the standard FMJ rounds. So this is the build I would recommend for the more aggressive player, but this gun really now excels in having more mobility than most LMGs while still being low recoil and really aggressive. So it's really good for the mid-range. This thing is absolute a beam machine. So that's the first build. Now this is the more defensive, slower build that's good for people that like to play defensive on breakthrough, for example, or rush, or on the defensive side. This build's going to be good, but it is missing that ADS speed. There's a slight variation you can use on this weapon, which I'll also show if you find the ADS speed too slow, but it does have that suppressor going. So going over to the side, it's a 1.75 magnification, making it much easier to see players for mid-range. Also with this build, you can go up to higher scopes. You can go with the 3 times even. The 4.5 times is actually quite nice. So keep that in mind. It's quite good for the mid-range. It does miss the aggressiveness that the other one had. So then we're going over to the standard FMJ rounds here. We got the 40 round mag, just like the other one, and here the changes are. So we're using the stubby grip. Now important when you use this grip, it moderately reduces recoil and enables a slightly faster transition to aim down sight. So that's good. but it goes at the cost of ADS accuracy while moving. So basically, when you start to strafe with this gun, you're not gonna hit a bullet anymore. It's not that drastic, but it is quite a big of a difference you have when you start strafing with this build. So you want to be stationary when you use this build, when you're starting to fire over those mid-range gunfights. Now, this is an important one. This is the heavy barrel, which makes it have better accuracy when you start firing over prolonged periods. Basically, removing all the bullet spread and bloom when you shoot it for the mid-range gunfights. So, honestly, with this gun, you almost don't want to tap fire anymore. You want to keep on shooting. That's why you still need that 40-round mag. So you're going to actually be beaming players for the mid-range. And then we put that 20-point suppressor on it. It does reduce the hipfire accuracy. The hipfire accuracy on this gun is really, really bad. Now, there is a slight change you can make. If you don't think the recoil is a big of a problem on this build, change that stubby grip into the angled one. Which is going to be this one, this slim angled one, or you go with the full angled one, which also goes at the cost of ADS accuracy while moving. So that's an important one to keep in mind. Again, you don't want to change your movement speed with this. So either this angled or this angled, depending on if you're going to strafe a lot or not. If you like strafing, you might go with the slim angled. You have 5 points left, which you can use for the lightweight here. So you have faster ADS speed. So a slight variation with still keeping the suppressor and the heavy barrel, as you can see right here. There you go. There you go. Alright, so that's a more defensive build. Now we have the Redux build. And keep in mind, this is not for the long range. This is actually for short to mid-range strafing, because the recoil on this is actually quite hard to control. So if you're looking for a long-range weapon, you should definitely go with like DMRs or sniper rifles in Redux. This is for close to mid-range, because the strafing speed on this thing is insane with the accuracy that it has. It's basically built for remaining accuracy while still being able to strafe. So the main changes, we go with the 3x scope. We have the 30-point blue laser. That's a big one. And then we got the flash hider right here. We have the light fluted barrel. And we got the standard 40 round and the FMJ rounds. This build does have a lot of recoil. I can use it real quick. It's still controllable, but the good thing is you can strafe while still maintaining your accuracy. There's not a lot of guns that can strafe like that and still land all your shots. You usually have to tap fire. It's a little red stack build right there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.